placement of this television screen, and I want to also offer a welcome to all of you students from across the globe. This is very exciting for all of us. And we do have some of the questions that you folks had, or at least your teacher had offered, and hopefully we'll be able to answer some of your questions. After we answer some of these questions, at any time, feel free to break in and ask your own questions. If we are speaking too quickly, please ask us to slow down. Both AJ and I are used to talking very, very quickly because we're so excited about the park, national parks, and the opportunity to connect Serbia with the United States, and this is very exciting. Would you like to introduce some of the folks around here?
In our room? Well,
yes.
We brought in some special guests with us today, and just off camera here we have Lois, if you want to come over, wave, say hello. Just wave and say hello. Yeah, Lois is with our Oregon Trail Museum Association, and she's visiting us to see you folks over there in Serbia. When she heard that we were going to be visiting with you, she got up really early this morning. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and Lois lives over 1 hour away, so she had to get up really, really early. All right, and we're gonna thank you. About our bone bed back here. We are Agate Fossil Beds National Monument. This is our 50th year, 50, our anniversary, and we will be having our celebrations in June of this year to celebrate. Even though our park is 50 years old, the animals that you see behind me lived here 19 million years ago in the Miocene era. They were discovered by rancher James Cook in the late 1880s and 1890s by other paleontologists and scientists. And major excavations began in 1905, where they then went ahead and found some bones to make a complete dino-hyas. This was and still is one of the greatest mammal finds in the world because it gives us a complete look at some of these animals. Agate Fossil Beds became a park in 1965. Before that, for about 40 years, the family that owned the ranch tried to interest the state of Nebraska into creating a state park. And then between 1905 and 1920 was the major excavations of the hills that we will show you in just a few moments. We don't have a lot going on now, but we'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. And I know that they had some questions, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about you.
Okay, thank you, AJ. One of the things I first wanted to start off with is that this is a story. The idea of the national parks is an anti-story. It's the story of the opposite of possession. It's the story of selfishness that has ceased to inhabit the minds of some people. I don't know about you, but I dearly love some of the possessions I have, and I'm sure that some of you have. Cell phones. Mm-hmm. You have all sorts of things. But the story of the national parks is a story where people aren't selfish. The national parks are for everyone. The story of James Cook, who AJ had mentioned, is the story of James Cook making sure that all scientists have the opportunity to come study. the bone beds, the bones. You can see that the bones here are in this rock, and they're not teased apart. Well, the bones we have back here that you saw in the first shot, those are all fakes. They're fakes because all scientists in the early 1900s, they chose not to leave them here. This place became a national park in 1965, so before that, people could take things. And so it was very thoughtful of Mr. Cook to save the opportunity for all scientists to keep the bones in a place where everybody could look at them. Do any of you know about any of the fossil sites or paleontology sites in your country?
Da li neko zna za neko mesto, neke iskopine paleontološke u našoj zemlji? Gde imamo neke? Sa fosilima, sa...
No?
Imamo kod vrste, kako beše neki mamutica?
Well, I can't pronounce these places, and so I won't, but I printed off a report from the Conservation of Paleontological Heritage in Serbia, from philosophy to practice, and it's from the Natural History Museum in Serbia. And what's very interesting is that the science of paleontology is something that links the world. And that's what's exciting about this opportunity to speak with you about science.
Yes, thank you for participating in our science fair.
I'm sorry?
Thank you very much for participating in our science fair.
You're welcome. What kind of sciences are your students interested in?
All kinds of science. Chemistry, biology, everything.
Anybody interested in geology? Raise your hand if you're interested in geology.
Koga interesuje geologija? Ima li takvih? Nema. They are shy.
Okay, that's okay. And one more question before I turn it over to AJ. How many people are interested in biology?
Biology?
Yay!
Quite a few.
Okay, just to wait. Can I wake them up with something?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to say something. How mature are your students, Anna?
From 12 to 18. Middle school and high school.
Okay. I won't, all right. I won't do what I was going to do. But I will say something. The neat thing about paleontology, there's lots of science that the National Park Services are involved with. Biology is one of the major careers here, biologists. Biology combined with geology is what paleontology is about, what fossils is. We can study the past, the present, and figure out what our world is going to become in the future. And one of the things I wanted to, I used to be a science teacher, and so what I want to do is make sure that people understand the role of science in curriculum. But what I wanted to do is, if your students know English well, I would like to ask the teachers maybe to close their eyes. The students, maybe the 16, 18-year-olders, they can keep their eyes open, but everybody else, close your eyes. Okay? Did you close your eyes? All right. So biology is basically something that's really important to a lot of people. The 16 through 18-year-olders can handle this probably, but what it is really a story. Did you see that? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you guys figured that out. Good. The idea is, that's what biology is. When you distill science down to the basic structures, you can have an exciting career in science. Anyway, before we get off track too much, here's AJ.
So let's meet the guys behind us. Come with me. The first animal I have behind me is a big guy named Dino Hyas. Alvis, would you be so kind as to put the name Dino Hyas on your whiteboard? Thank you. Dino Hyas was a big creature about the size of a bison. So he was a very large mammal. And he ran the prairie. Nothing was on the food chain that we know of right now that was above Dino Hyas. Dino Hyas was the big kid on the block. And right here behind me is I'm going to go ahead and have Alvis put up the spelling for Dino Hyas. So that's Dino Hyas. Right. And then right in front of me here is Diphenodon. He's a cross between a bear and a dog. So that's pretty much easy to figure out. So we just call him the bear dog. And he was, as we know, the first burrowing animal, or a denning animal of the mammal variety that we know of, meaning that he lived underground. He built his house in the ground. Our next character is this big guy who looks like a horse. His name is Meropis, and he was of the Calicotheres. Meropis ate plants and leaves out of the trees, and we kind of would think that he was a gentle giant, and he used to come down to the watering hole to get water from the watering hole. I'm running now. Also, living there, we have Also, in our diorama here, we have the bone bed. We have all these bones in the bone bed. How did they get here? Pretty much, we figure out that the bones ended up in this bed. It was an ancient watering hole, and it started to dry up during drought. No more water coming in, and many of the animals in the area would come here to get water. There was no vegetation. Why? Because there's no water. And they would simply choose to die right here by this watering hole. And when the smaller animals died here at the watering hole, the big animals like Dino Hyas would come down and scavenge on their bones and carcasses. And that is why we have all the bones gathered in one place in this bone bed. The Native American Indians of the area, their word for fossil, they called them stone bones. Bones made of stone. And that kind of gave it a little bit. So now that I've told you a little bit about some of the animals here, I know your teacher said you had questions.
Yes, they are very eager
Anna,
to...
Are they
yes.
going to ask the questions?
Yes, yes, just a second.
Okay. Yes.
What animal was the largest mammal in Miocene? Was it... What animal was the largest mammal in Miocene?
In the Miocene era, that was the Dino Hyas, this gentleman right behind me. The Dino Hyas, he got to be at least a couple of 1,000 pounds, and Although he's not directly related to the pig, Dinohius is Latin, meaning terrible pig, and so he was just a big, fierce creature. I don't think he had a lot of friends.
May I add to that answer? I did some research on the internet last night, and when I was looking up paleontology in Serbia, I discovered that there were also, of course, Miocene epic mammals. But the mammals that I saw at this particular site was in the southwestern side of your country. And it was later or more recent in the Miocene period, and maybe about 2 to 5 million years ago. By the way, the mammals that we have here, the early part of the Miocene period represents about 19 to 23 million years ago. But in the area that I researched over there in Serbia, it's 2 to 6 million years ago. And one of the bigger, or the biggest mammals at that time was something with the genus Gomphothere. And that just means it's an elephant or a mammoth type of creature. So that was even bigger, but that was later than what we have here.
Okay, and thank you.
When
Next question.
and how were the fossils discovered? When and
Well,
how
the fossils,
were the fossils discovered?
okay, when and how were the fossils discovered? They were discovered by rancher James Cook back in the 1880s. So over 100 years ago, James Cook was looking around on this property. He had heard some Native Americans talking about stone bones, and he was very interested in these bones, so he brought along some scientists to look at them, and that's when they discovered them.
What animal species inhabit the national park now?
Wow, we have our park goes nearly 5 kilometers each way and approximately 2.5 kilometers wide. So we are a good-sized park, and we have deer, we have porcupine, we have pheasant, eagles. We have, I've got a list, we've got hawks, we've even got snapping turtles down in the quail, coyote, we have fox, we've got sandhill cranes, Canada geese, and of course, we've got rattlesnakes, my favorite.
Are any of
You
them
all know what a rattlesnake is?
Yes.
Okay, we have rattlesnakes. Your chances of seeing one if you visit are very good.
Is there an alert right now about rattlesnake I saw on your site?
No, not at the moment. They're sleeping, and then soon they'll get up and yawn and stretch, and then they'll start slithering around. But in the cold weather, they're much slower because they are a reptile and cold-blooded.
Are any animal endangered? Repeat. Are any animal endangered?
You know, the eagle is the only one who is considered to be endangered, but they go on and off of the list because of the numbers, and the way they're protected is there are specialized nests that are built in areas that they like to inhabit, and the way we protect our animals is that we do not allow hunting on our property, so there is no hunting in the park. So all our animals are safe from guns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is the most dangerous animal that can be found in the park?
the most dangerous animal that can be found in the park would easily be the rattlesnake. And the rattlesnake, he gets that name because most people are afraid of him and they don't know about him. And they think that the rattlesnake is after them and that he's going to chase you. No. The rattlesnake, he has a bad name. He just kind of comes by it. And if you see a rattlesnake, he moves a lot slower than you do. So you, chances are, you walked up on him, not the other way around. But if somebody was to get bit by a rattlesnake, we do have medical practices that we have in place, but we have not had a rattlesnake bite out here in years or ever, because we respect our rattlesnakes, and when we see them, we keep away from them and give them their room. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Is the park open for visitors during winter time?
Can you repeat that, please?
Is the park open for visitors during winter time?
Are we open during the winter?
We are open almost every day of the year. We are only closed for Christmas, New Year's, and one other day in November called Thanksgiving. Many national parks in the United States are open year-round, and even if visitation, or we don't have that many people coming to visit, it's important that we stay open so that everybody can experience the national parks. A lot of people come to national parks for their vacation, whether it's to learn or to recreate, go skiing, go mountain biking, hiking, photography, and what have you. And if we were closed during the wintertime, people would miss some of the most beautiful scenery that we have in the national parks. Mm-hmm. When you get to talk with, have you spoken with Yellowstone National Park yet?
No.
After you.
Okay.
Today, later.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work there, by the way, and it's a great place. They have, they're open year-round also, and maybe they'll show you some pictures of their park, but it's very beautiful, even during the wintertime.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Milica. Could you describe a typical day at work?
A typical day's work. Well, we come in the morning, we make sure that the park is open for visitors. And when I say visitors, I mean you. So we make sure that the park is open for you. And we have a museum, which is part of this behind us. And so we prepare the museum for the visitors every morning. And then we go around in the park to make sure that there are no fires, or that there's, no visitors having any problems. Nobody has gotten hurt or anything like that. And then quite a bit of our day is administrative duties. We love paperwork. And we have our offices upstairs that people work in. But mostly the typical day is we have visitors come in, and they're from all over the country and all over the world, even Serbia. And we orientate them to our park and show them all the great things that we have to offer. And then we give them directions to the next park so they can go see some more great stuff. And that's pretty much the typical day of a park ranger. What we do is we get to present to you some of the greatest stories that we have.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hello.
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 How can somebody become a park ranger?
how does somebody become a park ranger?
Wow. There's many different ways to become park rangers. One of the clarifications we have to offer, first of all, is a park ranger is a very broad term. It's a term where, because we all wear a uniform that looks the same, but we have so many different specializations. For instance, AJ, you can see that he wears all this gadgetry. He has this technology. He has a taser stun gun. He has the radio. You can turn around the other way. He has handcuffs. He has flashlights, knives, and he has a sidearm.
And I'm wearing a vest.
Yes. And if you were here yesterday, he would have been wearing a camera. So hopefully he will never have to use it, but there's a lot of protection in case there are poachers or criminals that happen to come through the area. They're driving down the freeway or the highway very quickly. AJ had to take specialized training to be able to use all that, to understand all the laws of the country and the local area so that he can protect, using appropriate authorizations and laws to protect the resources, meaning he protects the animals, he protects the plants, he protects the dead things, the fossils, he protects people, he protects visitors, he protects staff. On the other hand, there are other park rangers who are, say, biologists, or they're paleontologists, or there are physical scientists or geologists, and they have to take specialized training in those particular fields. Somebody who is what we call interpretive ranger is someone like me. When we say interpretive ranger, I'm not saying that I can interpret language, not translate languages, but to help people understand this place. Like when you go to an art museum, people have different interpretations of the art. So we help people see the different sides, the different facets, different ideas within an item or a scene or a historical event. So I'm a professional teacher. I used to teach in a classroom. I used to teach at the college level. I used to teach at the preschool level. I taught at a lot of different institutions. And so it makes my day. I'm very happy when I get to interact with students because that's what I'm used to, and I have to receive. In the United States, we have to take specialized training to be teachers also. So, yeah, there's lots of different ways you can be park rangers in the United States. I don't know about park rangering in Serbia. That would be a good question to ask our counterparts, because there's so many different ways, at least in the United States, you can become a park ranger. Awesome question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience?
Now, did somebody have a question about the weather?
Yeah, we are just running out of time, so I just skipped a few questions and asked if there were any questions from the audience.
Okay, well, we're going to open up the window behind us so you can see outside.
Okay, that could be our last question and answer. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
While the window is opening, let me just mention to you that the United States National Park Service is celebrating its 100th birthday next year. And this is a great opportunity for us to connect or to help Americans understand all the great stories, attractions, features that we have in the national parks, but it's also a great way to help people all across the world know about these special places. One of the interesting things that I get to work on is programs or activities, events that connect different schools, different people all across the world. So hopefully you'll get to come actually visit here in person, and hopefully one of these days AJ and I can go over to Serbia to experience your national parks.
Yeah.
You are very welcome.
So the fossil bones we've been talking about can be found in those hills that you see in your picture.
What's the temperature there now?
Right now, it is a beautiful, beautiful sunny morning, but in the wintertime, we can get down to minus 30 Celsius, and in the summer, we usually get around 35 degrees Celsius. Today, we're somewhere in the middle. We're starting off somewhere about 3 or 4, maybe 5.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity for learn from you today. Thank you for participating in our science fair. I'm sure that my students and all the visitors here will talk about this event for a long time.
Good deal. Well, we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.